Hello and welcome to Monday Mug Mentions week number 22. We are 22 weeks into this awesome segment. That's almost 4 months now. I'm having a blast hanging out with y'all. Thank you all for joining this afternoon, this morning, whatever time it is for you. I know some of you on the far west coast, it's still morning time technically, so it's not afternoon yet. Thank you for joining. Courtney, my beautiful wife, hi, good to see you. Mike, Stephanie, Corey, hello to all of you this afternoon. It's so good to see you. I have had an incredible week. It's been incredibly busy. We have so much going on, so I'm going to get right into it. This week's coffee is from New Harvest here in Providence, and it's the La Rosa. I will actually pull it up here for you. I've got it right here with me. It is New Harvest La Rosa. It was a really nice trip in there today. I got to go see it. John, thank you for joining. Daniel, thank you for joining. Happy Monday. Good to see you. Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where you are. I had a trip down to the arcade in Providence today. It's where New Harvest is located, and I got my coffee. This is some really great smelling coffee. I'm actually getting ready to dive right in right now with the Ninja Turtles here. Zach, so good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see here. So this is from Naranjo, Costa Rica. It's the La Rosa, and this is actually roasted in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And then they sell it in Providence at the arcade at the New Harvest shop. They've got some cool stuff. Brad, you're not late. You just got here. I just started. Brad, good to see you. Chad, good to see you. Stephanie, actually, you recommended New Harvest a couple weeks ago on the show, and that's what got me to go down there. I actually went to a place called Vanatau Coffee Roasters today, which doesn't sell coffee beans. So I suggested they maybe remove the roasters from their name. If you have coffee roaster in your business name, most of us will assume you sell coffee beans. They did not at this location. So New Harvest did, and New Harvest was awesome. They were very friendly. They made me a delicious latte when I went in, and I drank it, and I really enjoyed it. And this coffee is really good. This is the La Rosa. It's definitely a much higher quality coffee than I'm used to. It's priced reasonably. I mean, it's about $14 for a pound. You've got though I wish I could probably do it on the camera here. If you open this stuff up, you'll notice these beans, like unlike coffee beans at like a normal place, they'll be like darker. These are much lighter. I don't know if you can see that. They're much lighter roasted, and each bean you can see like the whole bean. I don't know. It's just so you can tell it's a much nicer coffee bean than like your commercial grade coffee. And I'm learning more and more about it, and it is so delicious. So if I've got a little shine this week, it is another nice warm day followed by a rainy day here in Rhode Island. So it's both hot and muggy, even with AC running. So good to see you all. Ian, thank you for joining as well. So let's get right into it. This coffee is really tasty. This is like a I don't even. It's like a treat almost. Like you can taste multiple flavors of like a sort of a chocolate and a vanilla and like a. Yeah, it's really good. It's really tasty. Thank you. Yeah, good recommendation, Steph. All right, so let's get into this week's stuff. This week I want to talk about games that fit in a tiny little package but do a whole lot of things, in my opinion, and are really cool. And one of those that I want to talk about, let's do mail call real fast because it's the older but smaller brother. Which I can identify. I'm the youngest of three, but I'm not the smallest of three. So, Mint Delivery just came to me in the mail. I don't know if I showed you all this last week or not, but this is Justin Blaskey's follow-up to MintWorks, which great segue mail call. We are actually talking about MintWorks this week. Oh, and before I go into talking about MintWorks, I want to mention my shirt. This is the Necronomicon shirt from the arcade, and this art piece here was designed by none other than Jennifer Hraboda Lesser, which is the artist who did the rulebook cover, formerly the box cover of Record. She is also hopefully doing another game for us. So I'm really excited to have gotten one of these shirts because I found out this was one of the last ones in my size when I picked it up. Necronomicon was a while back, but yeah, this shirt is awesome. I don't know if y'all can see the art. It is amazing. Like the art just on a T-shirt. I am really really proud to own this. So cannot wait. Did I beat some people to the mint delivery? Was my mint delivery delivered first? I don't know why, but I really enjoyed it. Corey, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Daniel Zayas, I don't know if I said hello, but congratulations on funding when Cutie met Patootie. And I know I need to respond to you about some cards. I'll get back to you about those soon. Brad, I'm sorry if you didn't like that I got mine first, but I guess I was just a better backer. I backed it better than you did. However I did it, I must have backed it better. Can you do that? I don't think so. So, speaking of mint delivery, Mintworks. This little game right here, I will open it up for you, and then we'll pop up the screen, and we'll put a better picture so you can see what's going on. But there's a rule book, and there's a little piece of paper, and then there's some cards, and then all the pieces are under it. This is a Mint 10 about the size of an Altoids 10. If you've never seen one of these games, it's pretty cool. Now, I've had some games like this that I did not enjoy, that were kind of lame in my opinion. Like they didn't do a lot, but Mintworks does a lot. It does a whole lot in a little package. Let's pull up this screen right over here. What do you say? Boom, we got our Weatherman stuff. I said over here, and it is right here. So let's check it. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe you just said that. James Hudson, my heart just skipped a beat a little bit there. Hello, James. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Joseph, so good to see you. Let's pop up just a little picture here for you guys. This is how I generally play Mintworks, and this is not my picture. Thank you to a Board Game Geek user for posting this one. I could not find my picture from my tray table, but this is how I play. Often I take Mintworks in my backpack to the airport if I'm going to a show, and I play Mintworks on the way to the show, usually a couple times against a couple of different AI solo players. This also plays with other people. It's a great game. It's probably one of my favorite small box games. It's a full Euro experience in a Mint 10. Like it really is the full-on Euro experience. You feel like you've built your little engine, you've made your little, factory, whatever you've done, you're happy with it in Mintworks, and I always feel satisfied when I played the game. I never get frustrated. It's just one of those nice. It's like a great like romp through the woods type Euro, and I really really like it. So, Brad, a lot of depth in Mintworks that I didn't expect. Great little game. That's the same thing here. When I got it, I was kind of wary, like, is this going to fall flat? And it's become it's in my top 20, I think, for sure. It is in my top 5 travel games for sure because this fits in my bag. I take it on almost every flight I go on, and I think probably 75% of the time I play it on a plane if the flight is more than like 2 hours. So it's great, and I always get some interesting looks from people. I've actually played once with another person on a plane who was like, "What is that? Is it more? It says more players. Can I try it?" And they were not a board gamer, and they really enjoyed it. So it's simple. I mean, again, worker placement. Once you can explain it, like you put this here, you get this many things back. It's really simple to explain and play. And so this is one of my favorite games. Mintworks is great. I'm really glad that Mint Delivery just showed up. I can't wait to start getting into that as well. I've actually never met Justin. This is one of the few creators who I really admire that I've never met or even interacted with. I would love in the future to meet him at a show or something like that. I'll probably make a point to do that. I'm really impressed by this, and many of you know Stir Fry 18 has been a game that's done like real well for us in terms of Yanaguano probably wouldn't be a company without it. So everybody I see with a small box game or a micro game per se, I kind of like feel a little brevity there. Like that's I love micro games for more than one reason. Hi, Mom. Good to see you. Good afternoon. And good for you to see me. Those of you who don't know or aren't friends with my mom on Facebook, she recently had surgery on her eyes and can see without any glasses now. I'm super jealous. I inherited the bad eyes, and I've had glasses since I was a child, essentially. So I'm so glad you're looking at me without glasses, Mom. All right, let's move on from Mintworks. It's a great little game. It fits in your pocket. I mean, it's like that's killer. You can't get better than going in a pocket and like also providing a fun experience. With that being said, what digital game? Like how do we do this with digital, right? Like what classifies a small digital game? And for me, it's going to be like small storage space, how small you can put it, maybe if you can fit it on devices, right? In this, I was thinking about what is the game I've played the most on my Steam account that has the smallest file size, and it was very, very easy to judge. So if you sort your Steam profile or your library, you can sort it by size of game, and then you can also put a metric there for hours played on certain things, and that could be bad too. You see how many hours you've wasted playing video games, right? But it's a really neat like sort of situation where you've got a good metric to look at. Anyway, the very, very, very standout game that is the smallest file size, 206 megabytes, which that's 2/10 of a gigabyte for anybody who does. I mean, it's a very small amount of space, very, very little. 206 megabytes is how much space this entire game takes up, but has provided 40 or 50 hours of entertainment for me, and I still go back to it on occasion, similar to Mintworks. It's something I play when I just want to burn a little bit of time or something in that nature. So the game is FTL, Faster Than Light by Subset Games, and in 2012 it came out. It's had a couple of updates, but it's a really incredibly fun game. So here is some video of me both dying from a previous game and then restarting a new game, and it's what FTL is you just jump from essentially screen to screen, but you're jumping from planet to planet. You're going through this, sort of situation where you run into battles or, run into things like encounters, space aliens, space traders, stores, and you can upgrade your ship in the effort to both escape these alien races that are taking over. And then also you're trying to conquer the alien sort of mothership at the end. It's a very difficult game. It's got a high level of difficulty intentionally. The game is meant to be difficult. It's a roguelike, which means you're meant to die and get better. And as you die, though, you save some things from your previous games, or you, in this case, unlock different or better ships through quests. FTL is brutal. You'll see my ship just exploded there. My game will start again and anew. But this is a tiny, tiny game. There's 206 megabytes that make up all of this experience. It's a ton of experience. It is it's a full storyline experience with multiple different ways to play through it. Each time it's different. It's enjoyable, and it's 206 megabytes. It fits on an iPad. For some reason, and here's my one major gripe with FTL, and this is sort of a good complaint, right? So, John, good of you to join us. Good to see you. This is my one complaint, is that it's not on the iPhone. It's a 206 megabyte game, and they don't put it on Android or iPhone. It's only on the iPad or tablets, at least. And I have such an issue with the fact that a game can only be on a tablet. Solely because my phone is a quarter of the size of my tablet. I should be able to generally see things or zoom in and out and do it. I realize there's a lot of information, but for veteran or people who have played it before, it would be fine to play on a phone. And I really, really wish I could have that experience there. It's not really a complaint about the game as much as I just don't want to be tied to a computer or a device a certain device to play it. But yeah, it's really an incredible experience. There's a storyline, there's a tension. Every time you jump, you don't know what you're jumping into. You'll see I just shot down an alien ship and took their leftover stuff, and it really, really makes you feel like you're invested in your ship. You also gain crew members, and they can work in new rooms, and they gain skills based on that room. All of this in 206 megabytes. A tiny, tiny little package. So, again, just like Mintworks, a whole lot going on, a bunch of replayability, a bunch of awesome sort of experience that you can remember. I remember most of my flights as positive because I generally play games. Mintworks has a really positive travel connotation for me. When I throw that in my bag to go on a flight, I'm like, I'm not gonna, even if I get stuck on this flight or if it's a long layover or something like that, I got a couple games to play that I'm looking forward to. I get to play Mintworks and I get to play something on my phone. And real quick, while we're talking about small games, this was actually completely unintended, but I don't know if any of you have heard about recently, I'm going to probably mispronounce it really bad. Ganz schon clever, which means very, very clever. And this is the game on iPhone. And if you have not been playing this dice roller, you've got to look at the rules are not even in English, but this is a roll and write that I have fallen in love with, and I play it on my phone pretty much every night before bed. Really, really fun one. So again, all of these share something in that they're doing a whole lot with very little. It doesn't take a whole lot of power, or even like you don't need a nice graphics generator to be able to play this particular game. This works on a tablet. That kind of thing is pretty much what we should strive for in the tabletop industry, right? Like low overhead, low cost, massive experience. I realize that can be difficult to fathom based on the current trends in games, with boxes being 35 pounds and you have to hold them with both hands and things like that. But I think those of us in like the indie space or smaller publishers can really, really do well with things like this, where we're looking at a small package. We're not trying to give somebody every possible experience. We're trying to give them a narrative and a story and a fun thing to follow using a limited amount of resources versus throwing all the things at the game. So I'm going to catch up on some comments here. And hello, Mikey. Good to see you. Melissa, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Daniel, yeah, I've talked about this game before. I believe I've talked about it a couple times. It's really, really fun. I really absolutely think that most people should check it out. So we're going to move on to the media this week, but I'm going to catch up here. Oh, cool. Brad said FTL was my first thought on this question. Cool. So we're on the same wavelength there, Brad. That's great. Corey says Titan Souls. That game was great and super challenging, especially as a free PS4 game. Half a gig, I think, despite being 16-bit graphics, I think. That's great. Yeah. Half a gig, I mean, 500 megabytes or less seems pretty good. 200 megabytes for the amount of things going on in FTL seems insane to me. It's a really, really clever way to build a game, and it's made me think, again, how do we cleverly put a whole lot into, and you'll notice, I don't know if I pointed this out, but this is Mint Delivery, this is Mint Works. You'll notice one is thicker than the other. So even Justin has decided to add a little bit more to the package, but that's understandable. This is a great package. Again, Mint Delivery still fits in my bag and still raises a few eyebrows of security. And people go, what? Those aren't mints, but there's a little wooden thing. What's going on in there? Let me see that. And then I have to show them that I'm a board game developer. If you're a board game publisher, if you carry product through the airport, you have some really fun experiences at security checks. Especially, I did learn recently that if they ask you if they're magic cards, just say, yeah, they're magic cards. No, that's a game called Stir Fry 18. So that turned just going through, yes, they're magic cards would be the right answer. And me saying, no, it's Stir Fry 18 turned into us taking everything out of all of my bags. So that's something that I think that's like a niche thing. But yeah. These always get questions in my bag at airport security. So that's a fun thing. But again, I don't mind because I love playing them. So Brad says, is there an FTL-like board game? That's an interesting question. I think the answer is probably no, that I know of. I think there's probably some that do some similar things. Certainly in that small of a package, no. That would be an interesting thing to explore, for sure. Daniel says, hey, bud, I need to run. Daniel, thank you so much for dropping in. Good to see you. I will get back to you about our Cutie Map Patootie card stuff very soon. Like this afternoon, I will get that handled, sir. So let's move into the media this week. And this media is a group that had a Kickstarter last year, did really well on it. They got some new equipment, and I would love everyone to go and subscribe and give their videos some likes. This is Brian's Got Game. This is Brian and his dad. His dad's name is Adam, but I think they just like to go by Brian and Dad. And they do a really great just quick unboxing video that's going on lately, so you can see what's coming out of a box in your new favorite game. Brian's a real young guy. He's, I think, in his early teens, so he's starting out in this, and I think we should all support someone who's that young getting into this, and sort of like it's wholesome content as well. Like it's not anything that's negative. They're never complaining about the games or anything like that. So I think we should really, as a group, support Brian's Got Game and show them some love. Let's go do the subscribe thing and give them some likes. This is a young content creator. Like, let's get this young man some traction so he has some confidence that builds, and let's see some awesome videos from him. Like, I mean, imagine, like, you know, I know when I was, you know, in my early teens, I was not producing content of value or doing anything probably of value at all. So I would encourage everyone to go to Brian's Got Game YouTube page and just subscribe and like some videos. Check out his unboxing of Decrypto. Check out his unboxings of some other games. He and his dad talk about the games that they like, why they liked them as a family, and things like that. So you really should go check out Brian's Got Game. We supported their Kickstarter by giving a promo, and I think quite a few people picked up the tofu promo for stir fry from that. So again, really awesome family team from South Texas, which is where our company's founded. You know, so I want to support them. I want to see the channel do well, but I also want to see young content creators doing well. Some of you may or may not know this. My son is dying to be a YouTube star. My 4-year-old really wants to be on YouTube. He wants to, it seems to be the thing he most desires. So we're talking about how we do that, and we're having those discussions. It's a really scary thing for me as a parent, you know, for many reasons. But one of the examples I can look to is Brian's Got Game, and Brian and his dad putting out content at that early young age without having to, you know, resort to negativity or being brash or, you know, screaming into the camera or anything like that, which is what I think a lot of the content is that I see that's popular at that age group. So I would love to see people support them. If you just would go over and subscribe today and give a couple videos of you and give them a like and maybe even a comment like, hey, love what you guys are doing, keep up the great work. That's the kind of thing I want to see in the industry. That's the kind of thing I think is cool, like real families doing their thing, looking at games versus like paid outlets promoting stuff. So that is Brian's Got Game. They've got a YouTube, they've got a Facebook. If you just Google Brian's Got Game, all that's going to come up. The YouTube is probably the best place to go engage right away. So yeah, go bomb them with love. Go tell them we love this stuff. Thank you for all your videos, and let's see some more awesome content from you. They put out a brand new video, I think, today. So he's doing regular content. That's something that I really admire as well. So, all right, let's talk about the clever, weird, strange marketing situation this week. Again, this New Harvest coffee is delicious. Thank you for suggesting it. Michael, Ben, Haramplo, or Haralmopos, I'm so sorry if I said that wrong, and you're more than welcome to tell me how to pronounce it properly, and I will do my best. So good to see you all. Thank you for joining this afternoon. This is the weird marketing thing. Hello Games, No Man's Sky Next. This drops tomorrow. This is a video game that has one of the weirdest marketing stories in the world. I don't know if any of you are aware of it, or if you've heard of what happened with the initial launch of No Man's Sky and the over marketing of the game in the initial run. I'll give you like the TLDR. Essentially, here's what we do. The game says, or the game developer comes out and says, here's all the things the game could possibly do. Here's most of what we're going to do, including things like some early videos showing off some really incredible features and some mention of multiplayer that was maybe not confirmed but was badly communicated. And so then we find that like the game releases and a lot of people were really disappointed because of course multiplayer was not available at all. Many of the features that were supposed to be there maybe didn't exist or were not implemented in the game yet, and people were fairly disappointed in the launch. This was in my estimation, this was over marketing a product, promising too much, saying yes to too many interviews, and then saying, yeah, absolutely, this is absolutely what we want to do. And maybe not being able to fulfill what you want to do, right? So, and thank you. Joseph says subscribed. My daughter wants to do thing. It's a scary thought to put your kid out there. Yeah, I have some reservations about it, Joseph. I agree. Corey they have a how to become a YouTube star sessions as part of my daughter's summer camp. That blows my mind, but I do understand. Yeah, Harlan post that's it runs in the family for sure, definitely. Steve-O, you're not late to the party. Good to see you. It's always good to see you. Brad says hi, Steve-O. That's good. Everyone, hello. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Before we get into talking about the marketing of Hello Man's Sky next, Hello Man's Sky, No Man's Sky next. Steve-O, I don't know if y'all know, is the designer of our upcoming game Bloom, and it's a game with tiles where you're trying to match different tiles and flowers and do some fun stuff. And Steve-O showed this game off at Kineticon last weekend and won Best Work in Progress, Best Game in Progress. And I agree, wholeheartedly that it is really incredible. Steve-O did a hell of a job showing this game off to folks and showing them how it worked and playing it over 50 times. I mean, really, really dedicated. So thank you, Steve-O. We really appreciate all that you did in Connecticut. Bloom we're really excited about that. You'll have some more information about that soon, hopefully. We're getting ready to bombard you with info on Bloom. But yeah, so No Man's Sky next. What is that and what happened? Over the course of the last 2 years, rather than abandoning the game, Hello Games took No Man's Sky and has crafted it into what they initially promised, I think, is what people would say. I would say it's more than that, really. But the perception is always going to be that they never delivered the first time, right? This is a really, really good lesson for Kickstarter creators. This was not a Kickstarter project, but it was a pre-order success. They had a lot of pre-orders, so a lot of people were very upset when the game shipped and maybe wasn't fully finished. Currently, they've done 3 major updates that include base building, Exocraft, and even a small sort of multiplayer version. But this No Man's Sky Next seems to be a re-release with owners of the game not having to pay anything to just update to this next version, and new people can now get it because it's available on the Xbox One. The reason that's important is there was a 1-year exclusivity deal with PlayStation that's ended now, and so they can move on to Xbox, which is, I think, going to be good for Hello Games. But No Man's Sky Next seems to be really well received so far. I can't share the video based on the language, but there is a video shared by Sean Murray, the lead developer at Hello Games, and he says, and this is kind of, I really share this sentiment. He's got this video of them showing off the trailer for No Man's Sky Next in their Discord. And so this is fans of the game, but, or people who have been longtime critics that want to see it better. And they put the trailer up in their Discord, and they are also recording the responses, people's audio. It goes into lots of expletives, holy F in this and all sorts of things. And people are freaking out, I can't believe it's so amazing, and just screaming about how amazing they are, they are feeling about just this trailer. And I think the tagline on Sean Murray's tweet was something like, for those of you who make, games or independent developers, it's moments like this that really make it all, seriously worth it. And it really is. Seeing people, blow up about a game or just, fall in love with a game really is, one of the best feelings. Even just seeing people you don't know, complete strangers, playing your game when you walk by a table. I'll tell you, from a personal aspect, it's one of the most amazing feelings in the world. It is pride, it is joy, it is when you see people laughing and smiling around a thing you created. It is a feeling like no other. So that's definitely something I think that most people, can identify with. But if you're a game developer or creator, there is something special to seeing people enjoy your product, in a genuine way, especially people you've never met before. That is really cool. So this was something that I saw as a turning point. I saw them sort of building this game and then pulling themselves away from the marketing. You'll notice Sean Murray did no press whatsoever leading up to this. He's done maybe 2 interviews saying, yeah, we're bringing this thing out. I don't like doing press anymore. You'll notice that I ruined our reputation with press the first time, and I think he learned a really harsh lesson. Hello Games was potentially a multi-million, potentially $1 billion company if this launch had gone right the first time. I think No Man's Sky Next is going to propel them into being a player in the indie game again, but their reputation is forever tarnished by their initial launch. this is something I think all Kickstarter creators can learn from. Your initial launch and how you fulfill or deliver the thing is really big. We're focusing so hard on making ReCord a perfect game right now because of this type of story and making sure that there's no mistakes, there's no issues, that everything feels just right. The picks have to feel right. The cards have to feel right. So many of those things are going to be important to our backers, so they're important to us. So I think that's something that we can learn from looking at Hello Games and the way that, over-promising and then not fulfilling is something that will really, really tarnish our reputation. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you know what you can provide, and it helps to ask those questions to like your manufacturer and your peers. Like, can this happen? Can we do this? Asking questions is much better than finding out via financial mistakes, which is what we've done in the past. So, hello, Dwayne. Thank you for joining. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for joining. Good to see you all today. Excuse me, we are mostly wrapping up. I know this video is on like a 1.5-minute delay usually, so I will give you guys a couple moments to ask some questions and catch up over here on the comments. Brad says it was great meeting you at KineticCon, Steve-O, and he enjoyed Bloom a lot. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So Dwayne says, good afternoon, everyone. And then Mom says, this is funny for me too, because I've been around computers since I was very young. My mom says, Carol Ann is my mother, by the way, if any of you don't know. She says, laughing at what is considered small now, since I started on computers, they did not even have hard drives. Now my phone is more powerful than computers I used the first 10 years I used and taught with them. Yeah, that's it's like I used to have 286 in my room, and that was the updated machine. But after my PC Junior, my PC Junior would have had, I think, about 16 megabytes total on the entire system to run the operating system and all that sort of stuff. And then a floppy disk was a megabyte. Was it 1 megabyte or 2.5 megabytes? Now I can't remember. Or maybe it was a 3.5 millimeter disk. Was like 16 megabytes. It's been a long time, but yeah. My mom says, feeling almost as good as looking at your own child. Yeah, I would say it's almost on par with that. Not quite the same, but very, very close. Like a very, very similar. When you're talking about, I think, making a game, Mom, and seeing it, on the table with all of your peers. And yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's very similar. It's definitely, there's a lot of pride and all sorts of things. That's so. Well, I hope you all are having a wonderful, wonderful Monday. I hope that this week goes really, really well for you. I hope you get everything you need to get done. I have got so much to do that I had better stop chatting and start working. So it's been really, really nice to see you all. This has been a great, great chat. Let's talk more in the future about putting, fun, big experiences into, like tiny little boxes like this. I think I'm excited to try out Mint Delivery hopefully in the next week here or so, and beyond that, I just love that idea of thinking small box. That's Stir Fry did well for us, and I love thinking about that. So maybe we'll go back to that in the near future. I know we're talking about a Stir Fry and Roll at some point, but we haven't started development on that yet. So, all right. Well, thank you all for joining me this week. Have a fantastic week. Hope you're having some coffee. Design some games, and we will see you next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye.